Everybody, what is up? Fourth Seraph here. Today, I want to talk a little bit about Celsius, what, in my opinion, is one of the biggest grifts in the financial community, one of the most overhyped stocks of all time. While we do that, I'm going to be drinking my G Fuel Superior Energy Drink. Way better tasting. If you guys like energy drinks, go check it out. Use code. I don't have a code. I'm just kidding. But let's talk about Celsius. Now, this one is going to be different than some of the other stocks I've talked about. If you guys have seen any of my videos, you'll notice that I'm not a big here's charts and here's all these financial indicators and things. Because of my background, I feel like I have slightly different perspective on it. So I do want to talk a lot about the marketing, the psychology behind it, how it's merchandised, how it's brought to the consumer, some of that type of stuff. But we are going to start with the numbers because holy shit, what are we doing with these numbers? So it's had a big crash over the last, 3 months. It was at 95. We're now at 49. It really ran up. So at one point, price to earnings ratio, which is now 55, was at about 100, which is insane for a stock that's not a growth stock like tech. To be at that level of price earnings is ridiculous. I don't care what their growth is. I don't care anything. And okay, they were negative and now they're slightly positive, but this didn't go from 2 cents to $20. It went to 30 cents, 16 to 30, and has just kind of sat there. So it's really not crazy growth. It's normal growth for an energy drink. It's one of the largest energy drink companies in the world. If you don't know, what it looks like, you may have seen it somewhere. I pulled up the Celsius website here. This is their normal one, I think. I've tried it and it's fine. So if you like Celsius, I'm not trying to tell you that this is the worst drink out there. But is it going to be the largest energy drink in the world? No. Absolutely not. It is not that good. It's nothing special from a taste perspective, and it's really nothing special from an everything else perspective. So how did we even get here, first of all, to this crazy evaluation? Because really, this stock should be about this price here that it was in 2021. But it sold to Pepsi. Pepsi bought Celsius and decided that it was going to be its main forte in the energy drink market. And so it has pushed it absolutely everywhere. It has shoved Celsius down our throats. I don't know if it's the best bet for Pepsi since they've been losing market share, but it's been, it's just crazy to think people bought it for $1, now it's 50. But who would have guessed? Pepsi buys it, it goes crazy. Why has it gone that crazy? Main thing is these pictures, which if you've spent any time on X, you have seen from someone in the financial community, because they love to take this stock and push it to all of their followers to try and pump up the price. I don't know why, because it's also a big enough company now that someone with 20,000 or 30,000 followers has zero ability to affect the price a single cent by pushing it to their followers, but they do for some reason. And personally, I don't understand it. Maybe they are just that deluded, but they do. Literally, I have seen people take these pictures and post it and say, wow, the Celsius display at my local store, I saw this today and it looks amazing. And it's a picture that they took from fucking Google Images. They're passing this shit off to their followers. Listen, whether my stock picks are good, bad, or indifferent, I am never going to lie to people to try and get them to buy a stock. That is wrong. That is bad. I don't know why everyone in the financial community does this, other than the fact that the financial community on social media is mostly just a collection of snake oil salesmen. They just show these stupid things, which, okay. Cool. Cool that these exist. Maybe they just think like, oh, I really want to show off that Celsius is doing some stuff. They're doing these cool end displays. But this is one of the first reasons where I noticed that this stock sucks. Because if you don't know much about supermarket psychology, the way that people shop, these are where the majority of sales happen. Everyone is fighting to be on one of these end caps. More often than not, a brand is just paying to be here. And if you'll notice, there are a lot of these. Now, it's only showing a few on Google Images here, but I could probably pull up certain people's Twitter, I won't call them out by name, and go through their feed and show a ton of them. Okay? But paying for a display like this is not something, you don't get this spot in a supermarket for a year because they just think your brand is cool. They're paying for this. The fact that you see a Celsius display in tons and tons of stores is something that Pepsi has worked with those stores to get, right? It's still not selling better than Monster. It's still not selling better than Red Bull. It's still not selling better than Prime. It's still not selling better than many of these other drinks. The grocery store is not putting it here because it's the revenue driver. It is putting it there because they are being paid to do so. And even with the primo spot in all grocery stores, it still does not outsell its competition. If it was taken out of those spots, and it was put in just the normal shelf, it would not be even a top 5 seller. But it is priced basically as if it is the most valuable energy drink in the world. It has nearly the same evaluation as Monster or as Red Bull, but its sales don't come anywhere close. And they don't come anywhere close largely because the branding is terrible. Now, I'm sure there will be some people who will disagree with me, but this is one of the dumbest products I have ever seen. Now, again, this is not speaking of taste. If you like drinking it, drink it. You should drink what you like. Don't let anyone tell you you can't drink a Celsius. But who is this product for? First off, I've never seen a cool person drinking Celsius. Right? It's always like a dentist. It's always like a dentist drinking a Celsius. It's always like a guy who is always telling his friends to do their 401k match. It's a guy who tells you he's cool because he smoked weed once in college. That's the guy that drinks Celsius. So they have a weird, it is, to their credit, kind of impressive that they brought the energy drink market to seemingly a new customer base, because it's people that probably weren't drinking energy drinks before. But no one is switching from Monster or Red Bull or Prime or Ghost or G Fuel or any of the other energy drinks. They're not in really the energy drink market widely. And it's because their product looks terrible. Now you look at this and you think oh, well, that doesn't look that bad. But I think these ones are an even better example. Okay. One piece of text, logo, different piece of text, another 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 block of text, and then all the symbols, and another piece of text. Let's look at a Red Bull can. 1, 2, logo, 3, 1 block. See how much less there is going on all of these? This is even this is a lot more than their normal one, right? Because this is one of their juice ones. Look at first off, this is put as a text block right here. Big logo, juice, so you know it's juice. One piece, see how it flows totally differently, and you can see it. I pulled this picture up. It's really good. You can see see how much empty space there is on this can. Like, it's just, your eye is drawn right to here. At Prime, your eye is drawn here. Sting, your eye is drawn here. Don't know what that is. 5 Hour Energy, again, a company that doesn't really exist. See which one has the most in common with Celsius? 5 Hour Energy, the company that may exist. I don't know if it still does or not. I don't think it. I feel like it went bankrupt because I don't ever notice it anymore. See how this reads like a book? Like everything feels totally different. So many different texts, so many different fonts, so many different colors, so many different things happening here. Like, there's so much going on here. But it's the weirdest mix of minimalism and maximalism I have ever seen, because there's tons of fonts, tons of colors, tons of text, tons of symbols and logos and things, right? But it's also just like white, and there's not that much color. Like, if you look at this, it's meant to be minimalistic, right? The majority of the can is white, but also the majority of these cans have a ton going on. Like, there's so much going on. There's so much text. Your eye doesn't really know where to look. And first off, this is the middle. So this is where your eye looks, and it sees sparkling lemonade. So if you just pass by this really quick, you're not even going to notice Celsius. If you look at, like, okay, Red Bull, logo in the middle, 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 Bang, logo in the middle, NOS, logo in the middle, C4, logo is in the middle, XS, logo is in the middle. Notice how all of these, the logo is in the middle, because that's the most important part. This is a very simple principle of graphic design and marketing, that you want people to notice the most important information, and Celsius doesn't do that. And I think it just goes to show, like, this is like a very middling product that Pepsi was like, if we throw a ton of money behind this and marketing, people will buy it. And that does work in the short term, but you need people to come back and keep buying the product. Best example I have is Mr. Beast and Feastables, which he's Mr. Beast. He has this huge reach. He made Feastables and everyone went out and tried it. I tried it and it was just kind of okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. And I never bought one again. Mr. Beast just recently had to redo the formula on Feastables because he found this same problem. That initial marketing push, while it goes crazy and while it sells out and you can't find them, eventually people go, this isn't good enough for me to want to keep buying it. And so he has to reformulate his product to make it actually good and build that consistent customer base. Businesses survive not off of one-time purchase, but off of repeat business. And Celsius has a very small core of, like, super dedicated people. I don't think this is a company that's, like, going bankrupt, so don't confuse that. But it's certainly not going to be like a Red Bull. Like, I know people who have had a couple Red Bulls a week for every week for years and years and decades probably. Like, people, I have drank G Fuel every single day pretty much for years. I like the product. It is great. It is one of my favorite things to drink. I always have some in my house. And so many people that try the product have a high rate of return to keep buying it. I know a lot of my friends that I game with that also drink G Fuel all the time. Maybe not as religiously as I do, but they do it a lot. Like, it builds that repeat customer base, and I don't think Celsius has that. I think all of their sales right now are still being driven by those first-time buyers. I think people are probably buying it thinking that it's a seltzer, thinking that it's alcoholic because it does look like White Claw. I think people are buying it, and White Claw is another good example, right? White Claw got super popular. People realized they were way better products. Not seeing that many White Claws anymore. It introduced something new, but the branding wasn't there. All these things weren't there. There's way better seltzers out there. that now everyone's just drinking those. There are still some people buying White Claws, but what people probably at the time would have looked and been like, oh, this is going to be a dominant name in the alcohol space is not. And I think that is the same with Celsius. So this is a stock I would definitely stay away from. If it really keeps going down, it's at $50 right now. If it went like to 20, would I consider buying some? Probably, because they might, pay some dividends. It should be a product with decent margins, things like that. So I might buy some at that point. But this is not a stock you're getting these crazy returns. We won't see these crazy prices again for a long time. I don't think, unless, people go really crazy, the market can be irrational. But as you can see, like, it hits that and it crashes hard every time. Like, it is not, even when it goes up to 65, it's an unsustainable price. So I wouldn't expect any huge moves upward to last very long, even if they happen. It's still overvalued. I know it's crashed a lot. People might think, oh, it's a good buy. If you see stuff on the FinTwit space, you might think this is a good buy. I would highly recommend to stay away from this stock. It just seems super overvalued. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. So, until next time, I'm going to keep drinking my G Fuel. Have a good day.